Hello, we will be presenting autism and a quick overview about autism and some adaptations that we believe will be very helpful to autistic students. So first, an overview. Uh, Autism is a spectrum of neurodevelopmental disorders characterized by social impairments, communication difficulties, and restricted, repetitive, and stereotype patterns of behavior. Now, the important aspect of autism is that it's a spectrum. So there's a certain, we can say, degree of how severe a child with autism will be. And so some characteristics are language delays or deficits, abnormal ways of relating to people, objects, or events, unusual ways of reacting to sounds, sights, taste, touch, or smell, and uneven developmental abilities. So they'll have scattered strengths and weaknesses. And the cause of autism is unknown, but it appears to have its roots in very early brain development. And the most obvious signs and symptoms usually occur between 2 and 3 years of age. And it affects about 1 out of every 68 children, according to the CDC. And boys are 4 to 5 times more likely to be autistic than girls. And there is no medical detection or cure, but with treatment and support, individuals can make progress over time. And it's important to note that no one size fits all approach will meet the needs of this group because, as we said, it's a spectrum, so each student will be different and will have different needs. So the first adaptation is to make your lessons visual because autistic students are better visual than auditory learners. So some examples would be using a daily calendar with a photo or drawing plus the word for each activity so that students can know what's going to be happening and uh, because some autistic students won't like it if their schedule is changed or if they don't know what's going on, so that would be very helpful to them. Another is to create a checklist of the sequence of activities so that students can see what they've already done and what they're going to be going on to. Using videos, role plays, board games will be helpful as well. PowerPoints, prezis, visual presentations rather than just talking, doing a lecture. Uh, Being able to see what they're learning would be way more helpful for them. And being able to touch hands-on manipulatives like for math and science. For example, using blocks to teach math or blocks for fractions as well. And just to ensure that students have access to these resources like puzzles, art materials, and books and magazines. So, you know, uh, allowing them access to a classroom library, for example. So another adaptation is to make sure that these students are comfortable in your classroom to make sure that they feel safe. So for some examples of that is many students are comforted by having an object to manipulate, so stress balls, straws, or Play-Doh. I've seen Play-Doh. Allowing doodling or drawing during a lesson so that they can take a break to better concentrate. Allow breaks for students to stretch or, a quick break, mental break from a lesson so that they can take a breather. Or if, they need to be moving, uh, that allowing breaks would be very helpful. And offer different seating options to have, so if the student feels they need to go to a quiet area, they can have a certain seat where they can go ahead and do that. And then really just to know your student, ask parents and the student what works for them, what makes them feel comfortable so that we know what we can do for them. And we can provide earplugs, headphones, so that they're not distracted by other noises. Uh, Another adaptation is to make it interesting, so to make it appealing, make our lessons appealing to our students. And we can do that by finding out the students' interests through an interest survey, through interviews, or by asking parents. And we use these interests in our teaching. And we can ensure students have an opportunity to communicate, so allow them to communicate with their peers, be able to talk. Kids love to talk. Um, some strategies to do that are think, pair, share. And another adaptation is to offer student choice. So an example would be allowing the student to select which 5 of 7 assessment questions they want to answer, or whether they want to work alone or in a partner with a partner or in a small group. So allowing them to choose what they want to do will make it more interesting because they'll feel like they have some control over what they're doing. And then, if available, they can use iPads or notebooks instead of just paper and pencil. Another adaptation is to make it consistent. So, going back to having that calendar, having a certain schedule so that the student isn't thrown off when all of a sudden it changes. So, teaching and behavior strategy should remain constant over time, and environments and people. So, creating a predictable schedule of activities, pattern of events, and routines. And if something different is going to happen, we need to tell the student who's autistic that this is going to happen beforehand. So, for example, say that it's picture day and the student isn't used to having to um, take that time out to go take a picture, So we tell the student beforehand, hey, we're gonna get a call today, we're gonna have to go take our picture, and then we're gonna come right back to class and it's gonna resume as normal. But telling him beforehand, uh, so that they expect it, they anticipate what's gonna happen. And maybe having a timer so students can manage their own time throughout an activity. They know how much time they have left, when they're supposed to start, all of that. So, in conclusion, students with autism have specific needs that need to be met in order for them to have a safe and positive learning environment. Um, and also, I think it's important just to be aware of autism, to spread that awareness in your class and um, with other teachers. That way, we can better help these students with autism and make them feel more comfortable in their own classroom. And that's all we have. Thank you.